Welcome to my parents' basement where we just set up this all new Evolpow M2 all-in-one Smith machine. My mom's been wanting to get into working out more, so they were kind enough to send me this to test out. This is the Smith machine version of the power rack that I had reviewed before. And something I like about this from my mom is the Smith machine aspect of it. So if you're working out and pushing hard, you can't get it quite up, even with safety rails or something, you can just, if you can't get all the way up, you just rack it wherever you are and you're pretty safe. And on top of that, we have these adjustable rails here. So you can set safeties for yourself if you're doing squats or bench press or anything like that. So there's just a whole lot more safety if she's here working out by herself. She doesn't have to worry about getting trapped underneath the bar because there's lots of ways to be safe with it. There's a lot of pieces involved, but my dad and I took us around an hour and a half, 2 hours. I didn't time it exactly, but it wasn't forever. Once you get going, it's pretty intuitive. There's a whole cable system that goes through that's a little bit complicated, but not too hard to figure out. But I want to go over with you some of the things you could do, exercises I like when it comes to this machine, because we have cables, we have the Smith machine, we've got this attachment, we've got more cables down here. We're gonna go over everything, just a quick overview. And I'm gonna make some other videos later on with my mom showing a full body workout that you can do with this. If you're a senior and you're just wanting to get in some full body workouts to keep yourself healthy, keep your muscle from going away, this is a great way to do it. So first off, we've got the Smith machine portion here. It's really smooth. Some of my favorite exercises to do just in different groups for chest. I like doing incline bench press with this. It works really well. Especially with these stops, you can set them pretty close to where it's just beneath your chest. So if you can't get it up and you don't rack it, you can still just lay it back down on these stops. Also, there's the shoulder press. I like doing it seated. So I just set the bench in here, get underneath, do the shoulder presses. Since one of the limitations with this, if you like doing standing shoulder presses, unless you're short, you're not going to get full range of motion. So stick with seated for something like that. Also for legs, you can do squats. Again, with these, you got your safeties. You can set wherever the bottom of your squat is. Something I like to do aside from just normal squats, especially with Smith machines, since you naturally, when you're doing a squat, have a little bit of a curved motion. The bar pretty much goes up and down, but the way your body moves, it can put some stress on your lower back. So I like to move my feet a little bit forward and keep my back really straight and treat it kind of like a hack squat machine, except you don't have a back pad, but you just stay really straight and it feels exactly like using a hack squat machine, and you've got the rails to keep the bar in place so you're not gonna be moving all over. But you can get a really deep stretch with this and really kill your quads with that. And then also for the hamstrings, you can set it up again and you can do stiff-legged deadlifts with this, really smooth. It's not hard on your lower back and you can really kill the hamstrings with that. So just with this bar alone, you've got the quads, hamstrings taken care of. We got chest, shoulders. So then we have back as well. And what I like to do with these is a bent over row. So just like a barbell row, I like to put the bar really close to my shin so that puts less stress on your lower back. You bend over and you can do your rows. And if you're hitting the stops at the bottom, because you have long arms like me, you can always stack a couple plates up and stand on top of that and get a deeper range of motion that way. Because with these stops, even at the very bottom, it tends to hit right about here as opposed to my arms being stretched all the way straight. And then for the traps, you also have the upright rows, so you can just stand there, bringing the bar straight up. And it's really smooth. I like doing upright rows on something like this opposed to a barbell because you're just locked in place, so it's not gonna move all over the place. I just feel more stable with my shoulders for that movement, as well as shrugs. I like to do shrugs on this because I just feel like with it being in place, I'm not falling forward as I'm getting tired. It's locked in place. I just stand up straight and do the shrug. Do the shrugs and it feels pretty good. So just with the bar alone on the Smith machine, you have a lot of options. And for the things like bench press and the shoulder presses, I have this all-in-one bench that they sent me as well to use for this, and this gives you even more options here. We've got leg extension, leg curl that's plate loaded. We have an attachment here so that you can raise this up and down and do preacher curls. And then there's a lot of different angles for the bench here. I like doing incline bench press when I'm doing stuff like Smith machines, because when you're doing the incline press, the bar doesn't move a whole lot in the travel, as opposed to when you're doing a normal flat bench press, you have a little bit of an arced motion. So I prefer to do incline for that. But moving on from here, we have some other options as well. When it comes to chest, we have this built-in pad, and it's hooked up to the cable system here, which is plate loaded. So at the back of the rack, we have 4 different pegs to load all the plates, and they also sent me these Decagon rubber coated grip plates, and these are really good for a setup like this. I typically like to get bumper plates because if I'm doing stuff like deadlifts, I don't want to be slamming the weights on the floor. But with the Smith machine, you're not really doing that. So these are really good, especially for my mom, being able to grab, pulling them off at waist level, sticking them on there, or sticking them on the bar here works out really well. But they hook up to this, and you can just pull your bench up and sit there and do chest flies with that, and it's really comfortable. The only downside is you don't get a crazy stretch because it's limited to just right here, so it's not like you can stretch back really far and pull it, but just from what I was doing, it was really comfortable on my shoulder, and I could feel it in my chest, because as opposed to this where you're pulling with your biceps, sometimes you're just all chest with this movement here. So this was working really well. Then also at the bottom here, we have options for even more back exercises. So you can put your feet here and just do rows. Underhand grip, overhand grip. Again, it's attached. This whole cable system goes through to the same place here. And another variant I like to do is to lay down on my back on the ground and do bicep curls with this, because it doesn't put any stress on my lower back. I can't cheat by trying to swing the weight up, and really isolates the biceps and helps getting a good pump there. Next up, we have these pull-up grips. So there's lots of options. There's rubber handles here for a wide grip if you want to do that. There's multiple widths if you want to do a neutral grip. And then you also have the option of doing an underhand grip. So however you like doing pull-ups, chin-ups, wide grip, narrow grip, there's lots of options there. In my mom's case, she probably can't do full body weight pull-ups. So another option you have is to use the cable system in the front. You can hook this in and do lat pull downs. There's multiple options. You can do them just seated on the ground, and you're gonna get the most stretch because you're on the ground and your arms are fully extended. But we also have this attachment here, and you can bring your seat up. You just stick this where it's comfortable, put the pin in, and now you can sit on a bench. You have your knees locked in, so if you start getting into heavier weights, it's not gonna lift you off the ground if you're seated on the ground. And if you just lean back slightly, you'll still get a full range of motion when seated on a bench using this attachment. So that's definitely helpful, and there are a lot of attachments that come with this. Another attachment we have are the dip bars, and the way these are designed, pretty much all these attachments, they either hook directly over the pegs, or like this one, it actually slides onto the peg and then down, so then it's secured in place, not gonna move. And you can do your dips on these. And then we have the cable system. And one of the downsides when it comes to cable systems I've used in gyms before is that sometimes they aren't numbered, where each of these are numbered, so you can easily know if I'm putting my safety on, which stop I'm using. When I'm moving the cable system down, which is easy, you pull the pin, you just pull this out and slide it down to where you want it. So maybe I want to use it here if I'm going to do cable flies. I want to put it down low if I'm going to do curls, or if I'm going to do side lateral raises for my shoulders, or if I want to do tricep press downs, whether it's with that same attachment that I use for the rows, or this rope attachment that a lot of people use is popular, so you can get a really good stretch out of your triceps. You have the option to do that. One of the downsides I did notice with this cable system, because there's so many different parts involved, so many pulleys, especially when you're doing lighter weight, like 10 pounds or less. I was doing the side lateral raises. It felt difficult when I raised it up, but on the way back down, my arm came down faster than the actual plate holder back there, so it's like there's no resistance on the way down. So that's a negative. For every exercise like the lat pull downs, the rows, the things I'm using heavier weight, that's not an issue because there's so much weight on the rack in the back that it's pulling it down, but for the lighter weight things, it's not ideal. Now we have a few more attachments and options with this. Down here, we have a landmine attachment, which you would need to get another barbell for that to work, just a free barbell, not one that's stuck into the rack like this, so you can put it in there. It gives you the option for all kinds of other exercises to do, so that's useful. And then some other things, if you get another barbell, which they do have some on the site, you can use this for doing bent over rows with the landmine. That's pretty useful. It's one I like to do, especially with an underhand grip. You get a good back workout, And then they also have these attachments, which this is a safety rail attachment. Throw in here, and then you got some J-cup attachments as well. So if you did have a barbell and you wanted to do barbell squats or something else that you want safeties for, or the racks or just normal bench press, you can have that here, set it up. Then you can still use this rack for those free weight exercises if you choose to get a barbell to go along with it. All of which they have available on the website that's linked in the description for you. Now, one downside that I did notice as well, which this just had to do with shipping, when it came in, there were multiple boxes, they were really heavy. One of them was broken and there were some missing parts. And I spoke to the company. They said they've talked to their shipping department and they're working on reinforcing packages better. I mean, there's a lot of weight in these things, a lot of sharp parts that can break stuff. And then with shipping companies, who knows how they're handling stuff that can break. But the good news is, when I got in touch with them, they sent us all the parts we needed, no problem. They got them to us pretty quick and we were able to finish the assembly, no problem. So overall, this has been a pretty good rack. Those minor things that, you know, with the cables and the tension not staying same on the negative of the lift. But when it comes to a rack this big, you can't be great at everything, but it's pretty decent for all the stuff you want to get done, especially for a full body workout for my mom. She's not looking to get the most bodybuilder workout she can get at a good gym. So this is great to have in the basement. She can get a good workout. We're gonna start posting those videos soon about full body workouts for seniors and just people in general that don't have as much time to fitness, but you want to do something you can here. But if this video was helpful, hit that like button, post any comments of questions you have in the comments section. I'll try to help you out where I can there. Subscribe for more like this. And we're gonna be giving away some stuff like this again soon, so make sure you keep a lookout for that, and I'll see you soon.